I'd like to make an announcement regarding the recording of this meeting. I'd like to inform everyone that Sean Driscoll, the authority's communications director, is making an audio and video recording of today's meeting. Is there anyone else making an audio recording of today's meeting? If so, please identify yourself.
I don't see anybody.
Okay, so pursuant to Section 20 of Chapter 20 of the Acts of 2021, as amended, Port Council members are participating remotely in today's meeting because their physical attendances today would be unreasonably difficult. All Port Council members in attendance and all members participating in the meeting by the Zoom video conferencing app will be clearly audible to each other. As a result of members' remote participation in this meeting, any and all votes taken by the members today shall be by roll call vote. So we have draft minutes from last meeting. Is there a motion to
motion to approve?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Mr. Lowell.
Aye.
Mr. Solito.
Aye.
Mr. Carr.
Aye.
Mr. Cahill.
I was not present. Abstain.
Thank you. Munir, aye. So let's move up to the management report. Bob, over to you.
All right. Well, the first one we have is regarding the Aquinnah and Barnstable conversion. And I think Mark is down in Mobile. And so Sean will be bringing him over. Or actually, was he in
I
there?
don't see him in here yet.
He may be joining us in a minute. I won't take away his thunder, but I can go through the presentation. And once he gets on, he can correct me.
I guess an alternative would be to just maybe take one of the updates out of order. If you were ready for that, that would leave the whole thing with Mark.
Okay. All right. So the next couple would be.
Looks like Mark's the first four, so maybe strategic planning.
Yeah, so we have Janae and Emily on, I believe, from Reptilis. I don't know if you'd like to take them out of order for the strategic.
Do the Woods Hole and the Vineyard Haven slip repairs too.
Alternatively, we're prepared to be able to do the reports on the Nantucket, the Woods Hole, and the Vineyard Haven slip repairs, if you'd like to do it that way.
That sounds fine. Thank you.
All right, and then we'll come back to the Aquinnah and Barnstable.
So, Woods Hole first, Mark?
Nantucket would be first one.
Okay.
That sounds fine, Bob. Go ahead.
Sorry, I've got a couple minutes before
All right, so the Nantucket's down at Thames Shipyard, and
It's actually going through testing today. So on the Nantucket, they have engine startups today, testing a bow thruster. Hopefully getting underway tomorrow to Fairhaven. But with dry dock, you can see some of the coatings on the other side. Or profile pictures of that.
can you hear?
Nantucket, the rudders and propellers had work done. We pulled the shafts, dye tested, had some work done on the propellers and the shafts, replaced some bearings. You'll see that here, finish work. New EV water purifier system. So dry dock highlights, hull coatings, bow thruster overhauls, main propulsion shaft bearings and bearing replacements, number 1 and number 2 main engine overhauls, and the 1 and 2 alternator overhauls. And as you can see, contract total was 1.392. Transportation, we had about a $22,000 credit, And at this point, we're at a total of 1.3 million. So just a little, very close to budget on that.
Any questions from the Port Council on the Nantucket work?
He's a beauty, 50 years old this year, like the Eclipse. Actually, the Eclipse is 1970, the last one here, total.
As a quirk of the schedule, the Nantucket actually is scheduled to be coming back on the run 50 years to the day that we took delivery of the vessel, so.
And it runs just fine.
I remember
Beautiful.
taking the tour down at the Oak Bluff Stock.
We had to give it to the Vineyard though, 2017. Sorry about that, John.
So here you can see the damage that was done along the rub rail where the crack formed. And you can see some of the damage to the sideshell right there.
So just.
Can you provide some context for this, please?
Sure I can. So the Woods Hole, they suffered an collision while docking Vineyard Haven. The collision caused damage to the rub rail. It's a 3/4 plate rub rail. The main deck, 5/16 plate, tripping bracket, the 3/8 plate with 3-inch flange, transverse frames, as well as the underdeck transverse stiffeners. We proposed a temporary repair to the U.S. Coast Guard that was approved. So we were looking to do an overlay of a 3/4 doubler plate on the existing rub rail, 6 inch past the affected area on the forward and aft end. We had to bevel in the engines to mitigate any kind of catching hazard, grinding out all cracks and a fill with new weld. Reattach the tripping bracket to the underside of the main deck, and that was done at frame 48. So we went through an evolution with Coast Guard to get that approved. Friday on 3/29, we had Coast Guard come take a look at it. We did dye testing to make sure there weren't any additional cracks, found that there were none. Worked to get insulation back installed and have set up a program for inspection until it gets to dry dock.
It's hard to tell from the photographs, the exact location and sort of the scale of this. Can you provide a little bit of description? Are we talking about 10 square feet, 20 feet long, one minor little location? It's hard to tell from these photographs.
A location on the rub rail of less than 1 foot where that happened. And when you're in the engine room and you're looking up there, that gives you a better scale with the ladder right there.
Mhm.
And you can see the work was done, and that's, you're probably talking within that frame section of about 18 to 20 inches total.
That's helpful. Thank you.
So, and in context, that location is behind the switchboard in the engine control room for the vessel. So there was insulation that had to be pulled down and to get to it. And then, as Mark said, they have to reinstall the installation, but they need to have it so that way we can get inspected on a periodic basis.
You can see an exterior photo of the repair. Excellent. That's the end. That's it.
So what about the incident itself? What's the context there? Maybe you can describe that and what, we may have learned from it.
Yeah, well, reviewing the video on it, Rob, it wasn't really a hard hit. It was, it was a weather day. The weather started to die down that afternoon. We've been in operation all day. I think it's just the way it hit on that rubber rail right there. It's 3/4 inch steel, that's the other thing, so, when building the boat, you're trying to save on weight, so, the design of the rep rail actually figures into that as well. But there's no human error involved. We did a review of the video to see how the vessel came in, and it looked like a normal docking coming into the slip.
And the impact was with a piling?
Yes,
The corner fender.
the corner, yeah, the fender.
Okay. Any
Is
other
that-
members of the Port Council have any questions?
This happened back on March 25th, at about 4:30 in the afternoon, so.
Do you want me to go back to?
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, so Mark is here now, so he has a busy day. He'll explain it to you when he gets on here. Having a technical issue here, bringing him over. Hold on one second.
He needs to accept it. I don't know if he's up there yet. No. I texted him. No, why don't we?
While Sean works on that, you want to do the update on the Vineyard Haven slip 2 repairs then?
Rob, you're muted.
Yeah, that would be fine.
So we've had the temporary removal of the transfer bridge here to start the slip repairs. That's from back on 315. You see the pick and removing the bridge. Removal of the concrete catwalk. Removed all the old wooden piles. You see they're in pretty rough shape. Setting new pipe piles. That's it. And the status of that right now, is divers were welding anodes on the piles, Friday and yesterday. Formwork starts next Monday, for the cement pour to follow. Looking at a 7-a-day cure. Then the gallows and the transfer bridge will be reinstalled. Still on schedule for the end of April, that first week of May, ending on Friday the 3rd. Any questions?
Any questions from members of the Port Council?
Rob, if I may?
Go ahead, John.
Thank you. Mark, we had initially talked about opening up Oak Bluffs earlier in order to help with the public traveling public, sorry. And are we still thinking of doing that?
So right now, I just, we got word that yesterday we did some work out there. The dock is ready and the transfer bridge is operable, so we'll need to get IT involved with the ski data readers and open up the terminal. But we're working to get it opened as soon as we can.
As soon as we can, meaning by what date?
I would have to see when we can get the ski data readers scheduled, get the, I'm thinking, what do you think?
And also computers, probably
The computers, yeah.
a week or so.
A week, 10 days, John, at this point.
Okay. Thank you.
Meanwhile, Mr. Cahill, we've been, C Street's been working with the town of Oak Bluffs on using the Oak Bluff stock for their service. So by having C Street go over there, it'll take some of the strain off the our facility in Vineyard Haven. To try to keep at least the larger vessels on schedule. And now with the Woods Hole back, it being a drive-through vessel, it should help the turnaround times on that one as well. So, but I think the first step is to have C Street go into Oak Bluffs, and I think I know there's an agreement that I think they're getting ready to execute. So,
Just a follow-up, if I may, Mr. Chair.
Yes, please. Go ahead, John.
Yeah, the when we first started this process, there was significant delays in Vineyard Haven. Have you guys managed that in a better way in the last couple of weeks?
I think we have a better handle with C Street and the schedule and the weather's improved some. And I do see an improvement there, but I think this will help alleviate a lot of the traffic and keep things on schedule.
All right, thank you.
Other questions from the Port Council? I have one. And what's the budget for the terminal repair project?
Slip 2,
The work that you just presented.
that came in at, was it 7?
don't have the number off the top of my head. We'll look that
Rob,
up.
I can't recall off the top.
Okay, I guess, just, we've gotten so used to having, those wonderful presentations with respect to each project that we have from a ship perspective, that when we have a project like this, it would be, I think, helpful for the Port Council to see sort of the same type of information. It's not too heavy of a lift.
No, it shouldn't be, Rob. We'll update the presentation and include the financials, and we'll have that for the board meeting, and then we'll have that for the next month's Port Council meeting.
Thank you. Okay, how are we doing with Mark down in Great South?
Mark, you muted.
Got us all holding our breath, Bob. We want to hear the good report.
Mark, you muted if you hear us.
Mark, we can see your name on the Hollywood Squares, but we can also see you're muted. Now we can see you. And you're still muted.
Looks like he's running from alligators.
Well, what he's doing is he's trying to show that the vessels, the Barnstable is being prepared to be moved from the where it's been for the past 8 months back onto the barge to be taken across the harbor, to be put in the dry dock and be refloated. And then they'll repeat the process with the Aquinnah tomorrow. And
There's his palm print.
yeah.
At least it's got protection on.
It's a good hat.
This reminds me of looking at the eclipse yesterday.
Don't stare directly at it.
Nice.
Mark, could you text Paul and have him unmute?
I've been texting Mark on his personal cell. He's
But
just
that's
not-
probably Mark's phone, so.
No, I have his personal cell. I'm just not looking at it. He's just looking at this.
Okay,
Is there is there action happening right now? Or, I mean, it's,
Well, we're hoping that we'd be able to get some sort of shot other than watching paint dry.
Mhm.
But, you know, I think the technical difficulties getting this set up, so
You're working on a live shot.
I guess, let's see if we can get some movement there.
He's looking for the
This is
eclipse.
like them landing on the moon.
It's like Cloverfield. I'm getting motion sickness.
Let's just call his phone and tell him not to.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Good try.
We attempted to show you something.
I'm just want me to take.
April effort.
This is market training. Live shot training.
When I just give him a quick call.
For our new poor council member in New Bedford, this is how we show good news to steamship.
Absolutely.
It's
It's real time. It's
not that
authentic.
often, so we're really trying hard to do it.
No, it's the authenticity of it. Right?
Oh my God. I actually have a question for him when he gets on. I just noticed in the picture, I didn't know they had rear thrusters in those boats. It's interesting.
Okay, so it's gonna be, I just talked with him. He's not apparently it wasn't working on his end, so he asked for me to give this report for him, so we'll go through it. Hopefully,
Okay.
I think I'm pretty much up to date.
okay, Bob, go ahead, thanks.
Okay, get the screen share, so, starting with, here we are back at the beginning of the month. You can see that the hull coatings have been applied to both the Barnstable on the left and the Aquinnah on the right. The lower portion, below the water line is red to assist the divers. Then we have a black section followed by, that goes up to the bottom of the deck, a white, and then the apron there is, you can't tell in this, but it's blue, the Iyanough blue. Next. Picture of the stern ramp on the Barnstable has been installed, it's painted out. You can see that the sponson and the bulwark on the sponson up in the upper right-hand corner has been installed. And the last I heard, they were 75% done with the putting the rail along the top of the sponson. I don't know if there's whether they're farther along. And because it involves hot work, they haven't painted those, but they'll be able to paint those PSI. Next. Just shows the, you know, from the stern, the rudders and the propellers on the Barnstable. And the top portion is the extension of the stern. Next. A picture when they were installing the rudders on the Barnstable. So the rudders and the rudder stock were taken off and refurbished, and then put back into place. Mark was very pleased with the work that they had been doing on that. Next. This is the stern thruster on the Barnstable. So they had already done the lubrications that they need that are environmentally acceptable to the EPA. And next. Just shows the financials. So right now we're at 35,634,000. We have about $620,000 per vessel for in change orders to date. So again, the big news today is that they'll be launching the Barnstable followed by the Aquinnah tomorrow. And at that point, there's still a significant amount of work to be done in terms of all the wiring has to be still needs to be repulled. and they'll be need to finish up on the freight deck and the sponsons and the bulwark there. And once they're in the water, the control panels for the console for the pilot house will be installed, and all the joiner work for the passenger areas will be done. So right now, I think we're looking at the end of May was the last schedule I saw. May 31st or 30th, I think, was the expected date that the yard expected to be done with the Barnstable. It's about an 8-day sail up here. So the first part of June, we expect the Barnstable to be here. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, go ahead, Joe.
what's the total cost for both boats at the end?
Well, let's see, so, you're gonna be looking at, let's see, 4, 3, 15, about $20 million per boat, plus owner supply, so it's just over $20 million per boat. So we should be getting 3 vessels for essentially about what we'd be spending to build 1 new boat.
So we're talking a little over $40 million for both boats right now.
For these 2, and then we're still working on with the yard on the conversion package for the Monomoy, which we expect to work that out shortly.
Thank you.
Other questions from the Port Council? Bob, what's the delivery date for the Aquinnah? You mentioned Barnstable, first week of June. What about the Aquinnah?
Yeah, so the Aquinnah, while it's only a couple weeks behind right now, the Barnstable, because they need to have it ready to be put in the water at the same time. They were going to be concentrating on getting the Barnstable completed. And then we run into the situation where we probably won't have crews available to be able to bring the boat up. So we're going to be working with the yard. We may have to end up hiring a crew to bring the vessel up for us. But we haven't worked out all those details yet. At this point, I think that we're probably looking at perhaps even a July date on that boat.
Yes, John.
Yeah, just curious, when would we actually start to carry passengers and vehicles on either boat?
Yeah, so with the Barnstable, if they, we make that end of May date and bring the boat up here, we would anticipate putting it on the run with the summer schedule on the Nantucket run, which I think is June 17th, if my memory serves me right.
Yes.
June 17th. Right. And then
Thank you.
June 17th, and then the Aquinnah, with that, that include, obviously there'll be training on the voyage up. We'll need to get additional crews cycled through. We'll have the local Coast Guard inspections of the vessel as well. I think we'll need to be deploying the marine evacuation system on that vessel, because it's we don't have it on the other freight boats, so it'll be new. So we'll want to do a training exercise on that. So there'll be a lot of activity in that, early part of June to get the vessel ready and be able to put on the run. So.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, sorry, I didn't put my hand up.
No problem. Go ahead.
Bob, and I just want to say thanks to everyone involved, and Mark down there with his iPad upside down in the water. But this is really good. But I just want to sort of touch on the mock, whatever you guys did over there, Allison and Mark and whoever was over at the airport, and how that ended up working out with the mock loading on the ground with cones. You know, I hate bringing up the past all the time, but I do remember things when we put the sponsons on the Gayhead and the Katama. The lengthening came first, the widening came second, and I can't remember exactly how we suddenly just switched boats and the pilots knew and everybody just sort of showed up and figured it out. But it is so difficult to do stuff testing in the summertime, especially in Hyannis, because there's no room at the inn, Bob, as you know. But do you think we're going to be able to just suddenly just Monday morning at 5:30 load the Barnstable like it's always been there? I'm just curious of how we got to figure this out.
I think that, you know, with every vessel is different. It's obviously that, you know, there's a big difference in putting cones out and marking it off over at the Brookslow parking lot. You know, we had 10 semis, 2 box trucks, and we had another car on. You know, so we know that we can carry additional vehicles, but there is a difference in doing it in the parking lot and being there with the transfer bridge and doing that. And I think, you know, we did that to get a rough estimate of what we could carry, but we also want to make sure we get the vessel up here that we can, you know, we want to load it, make sure that we have the actual space to do it, how trucks, you know, they're not over a hatch. And the nice thing is, like, when we did that, there were no trucks over hatches, nothing like that. It was as it was supposed to be. But I would, you know, I always want to err on the side of caution and say, you know, I don't think we're just gonna show up on a Monday morning and load it up and go, and it'll take some learning.
Yeah, and I knew that. I just had to say it my own way to kind of, you know, just plug this in, because it is. I have a couple of thoughts, and I'll pass them on to you guys, you know, on the phone, but of how we can pull this off, like without it looking like it's our first day at work. And having the senior captains and people that really are, you know what's going on more, and maybe practicing on a Sunday or Saturday afternoon versus a morning gas boat as the first load officially. That was my thought.
So I think as part of this is, you know, we will be doing training, you know, once the boat gets up here as well, to bringing it into the various ports, so that way they get familiar with, you know, the docking procedures that they'll need to be doing. And I anticipate, much like we did with the Woods Hole, that they'd end up taking, they pull in the Hyannis to be, you know, checking the docking arrangement, that they'll probably end up taking a load over to Nantucket as a, you know, just as a test run type thing.
Yep.
So, there's the senior captain assigned to the Barnstable and also to the Aquinnah are both, you know, some of our best. And we anticipate that, they'll be working with their crews in terms of the loading and working with the shoreside people as well in terms of, you know, how best to load the vessel. And it will take, there will be a learning curve. And as Mark said, it's different when you're laying it out with, you know, traffic cones and tape on a flat parcel, as opposed to, you know, having the transfer bridge structure and, you know, the bulwarks to be contending with. But the fact that it doesn't have a doghouse in the middle is going to help as well.
Yeah. And then lastly, Bob, just as a little sort of finish this off, is getting the food trucks all notified to be down there for standby on that first real day, you know, whether it's a Monday, whether it's a Tuesday, it doesn't matter. And all the Noonan drivers are all the same people. So there's going to be some very senior drivers for that first day of the real stuff early in the morning. Maybe they can all be there a little earlier. Maybe it could be sort of like, you know, loading, first day, training, learning, absorbing day, figure it all out. And hopefully the weather is good Because that's key, figuring out where the tie downs are for those bad days and all that kind of stuff. So that's the good side of it, is that the people that are going on that boat every morning, 6 days a week, are the same people. So that's good news too. So thank you very much for everything on this.
Other comments, questions? I want to go back, Bob, you mentioned potential issue with crewing on the Aquinnah. Can you just elaborate on that, what the issue is and what the solutions are?
Well, the issue is that the plan is to get these boats up here before we hit the summer season. And, right now it appears that the Barnstable will be able to do that, but the Aquinnah, in all likelihood at this point, is going to be after that. So, we'll be stretched, as it is, running the schedule. And, we won't have the luxury of being able to take multiple crews off to go send them down south to transit the boat up over an 8-day period. So, one solution is for us to hire a crew to supplement with our senior captain and senior chief engineer that would be assigned to the vessel to bring the vessel up. And then at that point, the vessel, the Aquinnah would be replacing the Sanctity, which only operates Monday through Friday. So we could bring the crews in for some training over the weekend. And also we can cycle some of those people down onto the Barnstable while the Barnstable is actually on the run as part of their training as well. So we'll be looking at that once we get a firmer date for the completion of the Aquinnah.
Okay, I mean, a contract delivery crew is a normal thing, so I think that's, shouldn't preclude us from getting it up here. What is the plan for the Sanctity when the Aquinnah is here and ready to go?
The Sanctity would be taken to Fairhaven and put in standby status. So we wanted to get the boats in the water, and as I said, this is happening today and tomorrow. And at the board meeting, I anticipate requesting that the board declare the Container and Gayhead as surplus, so that way we can start to see if there's a market out there for those vessels to dispose of them, to sell them. As it stands right now, we're looking at retaining the Sanctity as the spare vessel, but we continue to evaluate that.
Okay. I guess one other thing just to mention is obviously good to get the boat out of there before hurricane season gets in full swing.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about that, but
Ground zero down there. Any other questions regarding Barnstable or Aquinnah? Well, thanks. I hope we can get at least a video of the momentous occasion of getting the boats in the water.
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have at least something. So again, I didn't know whether it was going to be like watching paint dry, and so.
Okay. Let's move on to the next item on the agenda, strategic planning.
All right, so now we'll bring Emily and Janae over. And they can provide us a quick update on the progress towards on the strategic plan and implementation project. And Janae as well.
Yeah, I did.
You're muted, Emily.
Muted. There we go. How about now?
Yes, can hear you.
All right. And Sean, do you need me to share screens with our presentation?
No, I've got it up.
Okay, great. Fantastic. Thank you. Good morning. It's good to be with you all again. This will be a very kind of brief update, but we wanted to check in and let you know how the strategic plan implementation process is going. Since we were last together in mid-January, with your adoption of the framework, we were able to kind of pull together the final deliverable of the strategic plan itself. So that has been shared with the leadership team It really just tells the story of how the last year has gone and how the workshop and the work with you and your stakeholders and community input sort of led to the vision, strategic outcome areas, and kind of action plan going forward for the organization. So hopefully you find that useful and good material to share with your constituents. Next slide, please. And as we progress into the implementation phase, it's really important to start kind of clarifying terminology. And so you'll see we call this sort of the strategic plan layers, but essentially the framework that you all adopted provides the basis for going deeper into the organization, into the key focus areas within the organization, to start realizing some of the areas of success in the strategic outcome areas. So if you recall, kind of the broadest layer are the strategic outcome areas. Those are the 5 buckets of things that must go well in order to realize the vision. And within there, you all sort of approved initially 17 different initiatives, which is quite a bit. So our implementation work is starting by taking that pool of initiatives and prioritizing up to 2 within each of the strategic outcome areas. And the reason we think that's really important is because organizational capacity is a reality. And so we want to make sure that the team dedicated to each of these initiatives have the capacity to move the ball forward. And so we start with 2 to 3 and focus on those areas. And as they become operationalized and integrated into the organization, then the remaining initiatives surface and we continue on in striving to make progress in each of the outcome areas. The way we approach the initiatives that you've approved is first by developing tactics, and I'll talk about this in a minute, and then from there, milestones. So it's this hierarchical process of really breaking down broader vision and success areas into manageable steps that allow you all then to see progress as we roll up the implementation for reporting purposes. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, Emily. Sean, would it be possible to put this in full presentation mode? It will make the slides a little bigger, and some of them are not legible in the way they are right now. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. So for those initiatives and tactics, we're sort of anchoring them in what we call the SMART acronym, but specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. And again, this is to make sure that we can track progress and that it's clear and articulate in terms of how we're going to do that. So we'll make sure that there are ways that we can measure progress over time. We make sure that they're relevant to the initiative and to the strategic outcome area, that they're connected. And then time-bound, as previously mentioned, is probably the most important, and that's just realizing organizational capacity at the moment and making sure that we're kind of chipping off a reasonable amount of work for the staff who still have their day jobs, in addition to moving forward some of these priority areas. Next slide, please. So the milestones really become sort of the steps to achieve the tactics, and the tactics, as they are achieved, begin to make progress on each of the initiatives. So typically each tactic will have a couple milestones. They don't have to be sequential, but they help you break down the different things that have to be achieved in order to realize the tactic. The other thing that's important with these layers is to recognize that you all met, I believe, in January, the outcome team leads, so the face of each of those 5 strategic outcome areas, but it will take the work of staff across the organization to realize progress in these areas. So each tactic and milestone allows you to assign folks that have the subject matter expertise and really kind of create the team cohesion to develop progress over time. Formulaically or mathematically, the milestones are how you all will see progress. So as you check the box on a particular step and more boxes are checked, you'll see a higher percentage of progress in each of these particular outcome areas and the initiatives that you've approved. Next slide. So here's sort of the roadmap as we move forward. Since we were with you in mid-January, Janae and I were actually on site towards the end of February, and we chose a pilot outcome area, which is the provide safe and reliable service. It was somewhat intentional. They only have 2 initiatives, so we didn't have to go through the prioritization process, and instead kind of met with the team and talked through what the particular tactics, milestones, and KPIs should be. We've developed a draft of that we are working to finalize with the team. And then we took the lessons learned from that pilot exercise, which we thought was important given that it's the organization's first strategic plan implementation process. So we wanted to make it approachable and have sort of some lessons learned with just one particular outcome area first. And so we've gleaned some insights from that experience, and we'll be back with staff and the team in a couple weeks here. And we will have workshops for the remaining 4 outcome areas. So we'll work with each of the teams to prioritize the initiatives, develop the tactics and milestones, and kind of round out the KPI measurements that we want to use for that outcome area. Once we finish all 5, we'll upload them into the online dashboard, which is Iyanough. And I think you've all seen sort of examples of what that looks like. It's really just the visual representation of progress and implementation over time. It will be sort of the mechanism for how we report out to you and to the board on a semi-regular basis, likely quarterly, on how progress is going and what the KPI measurements look like. So we'll transition all the hard work with staff into the online dashboard early summer, and then by late summer, maybe as things wind down with your busy season, we'll have an opportunity to show you the results of that work and then talk about what the regular cadence of updating you on progress looks like. We'll also make sure as we finish out the year that we provide adequate support and training to staff on how to use Iyanough and how to make sure that they're comfortable with it going forward, as this is a living document and we'll continue to sort of evolve and move over time. Next slide. I think this reiterates a lot of the same pieces of the roadmap, but big picture, we've done the pilot outcome area. I think it was a helpful experience. We gleaned a lot of insights. We look forward to being back with staff in a couple more weeks. And then towards the mid to end of summer, get to show you the work of staff and all of these work plans for each strategic outcome area and discuss how you'll receive updates on an ongoing basis. And with that, I think we're all finished unless you have any questions.
Questions of the Port Council?
Actually, I have one brief one. How do we get a hold of that website, Iyanough, where we can watch the progress? Is that a link you could send us?
So it is not sort of a publicly available yet. It's actually a software service that we provided as part of the contract. So when we do get it uploaded and kind of reviewed with staff, I think that end of summer timeframe is when we'll probably talk about what the publication and availability of that information may look like. So part of that training package, we'll work with Bob around the governing body's involvement and how they may want to use it. Typically, we find that the governing folks just like it as a visual tool to see the progress, to get the reports and have a pulse on how progress is happening. And the day-to-day is really us transitioning the understanding of the dashboard to staff so that they're able to update on a semi-regular basis.
Thank you.
Other questions? I have one. Bob, what is the time of year that your goals are set? Is it like June, July? I've forgotten now.
Yeah, so well, typically the review should be taking place in June. And then in July, the goals for the coming year would be established. So
okay, the reason I bring that up is I think we talked a little bit about this, using the process of the strategic plan as a source of a goal or two for your coming year. And so it'd be good if the outputs of the work that Emily and Janae are doing would be in sort of synchronicity with the timing of setting the goals for next year, or at least have that in mind as a maybe it's a deliverable that's a little bit ahead of some of the other deliverables, but
fair point.
Yeah, make note of that.
okay, well, thank you very much, Emily
Thank you all.
and Janae.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Janae.
Bob, I think we have IT review next on the agenda.
I'm waiting for Mr. Coleman to walk up.
And Mr. Chairman, while we have a moment, my apologies. I need to excuse myself. I will do so quietly around about 10 o'clock. I've got some folks that are coming in that I'll need to meet with. So I will try to do that quietly and discreetly, but wanted to let you know.
Thanks, Gordon.
You may have a problem because I have to leave at 10 o'clock also.
Then we don't have a quorum.
I know, that's,
We need any votes? Any votes today?
No votes on here, but we can try to keep this moving along.
Yeah, let's go some rapid fire here. I guess everybody got so used to the last meeting we had was only an hour long that they're not normally that efficient.
no, I didn't expect to be at the meeting today, so.
Well, and I wish I controlled my schedule. Like somehow I have the least amount of control over what I need to be doing. So somebody put something on that I need to do. Unfortunately, I apologize.
Okay, Bob, let's go.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So as you can see, the summary of the project is to develop and facilitate an enhanced IT governance model to support strategic alignment and prioritization across all IT initiatives. The support efforts for replacement of the reservation system all the way through authorship of a request for proposal. The milestones through the months of February and March. We've had a governance kickoff meeting. Go back, please.
You're telling me to go.
I'm just cognizant of the time.
Yeah.
And that we're in the process of mapping essential reservation system workflows. We have scheduled vendor demos. We scheduled 5 in total. And we're in the process of finalizing the governance model itself. Next one. Want me to go through these since they're
Just real
future?
quick, they have the package, so they can see this, so
Yeah,
no point in reading it.
April, May, as you can see, reservation system, cost analysis, defining what it means to be a one system reservation system. June, July, functional requirements, cost modeling, and review for both core council and board. And August, September, finalization of the project. The budget thus far, we spent $45,000 of a $360,000 budget. Any questions? Okay, Bob, do you want to?
So I realize that was quick, but any questions from the members of the Port Council?
So the goal is a new system for 2025. Is that right? We're going to try to get this stood up for the next season.
Bob, we can't hear you. Bob, we're not hearing you.
Convenient.
Can you hear me?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah, now we hear it.
All right, so the timeline for that, we could be putting the RFP out in the third quarter of this year, fourth quarter, and getting proposals in, evaluating them. Then we anticipate that there'd be a transition that we need to be doing to map it all out and how it will work with our website and everything else. So we're probably looking at the fourth quarter of 2025. Be ready to roll it out for the 2026 season.
Makes sense. Seemed ambitious when I said it out loud, so that makes much more sense.
So just to understand, the scope of the current contract is the preparation of a solution and an RFP that would then be put out to bid in the fourth quarter, correct?
Exactly.
Is the part of this feasibility effort also developing a budget for the full rollout?
Yes.
Okay. Other questions? John?
I don't, Stephen, I don't know if this is part of your presentation or it probably is not, but I understand Allison Fletcher is working with you on the improving the communication process for the traveling public. Can you speak to that today and what's going on there?
I actually think Allison is prepared to discuss that comprehensively, more so than I. Would you prefer her to talk about it in that respect, or would you? Yeah, want me to touch?
Running out of room.
Run a temper.
I don't even know where to look right now. Hi, gentlemen, how are y'all?
morning.
As we've had some issues with communication and making sure we get information out on a timely manner. We have Sean actually initiated the group at first. The group consists of myself, Sean, Kurt, Mark Thompson, and Stephen Coleman. We're going through the different processes that we have to getting out information to our staff and to our customers. We've set up meetings with some outside groups to help with our communications. We've had one meeting so far with Civic Plus. No, sorry, Ready Off. Alert Media. We have one with Civic Plus on Friday, and we're waiting for demo dates for Ready Off in New England 511. These platforms will help us get information out in a timely manner to our frontline employees, as well as everybody on senior staff that needs to be aware of situations. One of the other issues that we've had is when we cancel or delay trips, the information gets relayed to the agents, and the agents have to relay that information on to the ticket sellers, because they're the ones with the access to the program to do those functions. Going forward, I've worked with Mr. Coleman on getting that program placed on all the computers at the actual slips at the terminals. So now the agents will have readier access to it, and that information can get out more timely to our traveling public. In regards to a couple weeks ago, when we had those issues, especially on the Monday of the 25th, a lot of that came very fast, and unfortunately, last minute, given the circumstances with the weather, the cancellations for the Vineyard Haven section of the trips, unfortunately never got put out. So that's why the information was never put out to the customers, and they never knew that the 7 a.m. was officially canceled off island. We do apologize for that. Unfortunately, it was kind of a fluid situation where they had started loading the boat before they realized it was canceled. So it was a matter of trying to get the children off the boat so they can make plans to either go home or get on another vessel, which unfortunately the rest of the day was pretty much canceled. I will be working with Sean on trying to fix the messaging with our emails that go out to our customers and our text alerts to make them more reader friendly, since right now they're not exactly that. And we're also going to be looking at a proposal for potentially getting some minimum digital signs put up in Woods Hole and on the Vineyard to help expedite this information to our customers as well. Does anybody have any questions? I tried to keep it fast. Sorry.
If I could do a follow-up, do you have a timeline on this?
I'm hoping to have the emails, we should be able to have the emails that go out, sussed out with all the messaging, I would say shortly. That's a pretty simple fix. All the agents already have access to the trip cancellation and delay program with the slips. We're having a couple little bugs here and there, but as we find the bugs, IT has been amazing on getting those resolved right away. So that's been going well. And the alert groups, like I said, we had our first meeting yesterday. We have another one on Friday. And Todd Falvey, our Director of Security, is helping us set up the other 2 meetings as well.
Sure.
So hopefully, we'll get that out faster. And then obviously signage will take a little bit more of it's a little bit more longer term as opposed to some of the other stuff, so.
One last question is, I don't know how you measure this, but could you speak to how much is a business process change versus a technology challenge?
A lot of our programs are homemade, so it's just trying to work out some of the interesting nuances with those programs. So our trip cancellation program for the longest time was tied into our point of sale system. So we were able to get that removed from the point of sale system to allow our agents the access to cancel those trips. I also have the access to cancel those trips, and did you ever want it, or did you ever get it? No, Bob wants something to do with it, I think. Which I don't blame him, so. So it's just more just trying to make sure that when the communication comes from marine ops to shoreside and then shoreside to the front end, we get that out in a timely manner. So that's why we're looking at some of these programs, so we can get that out faster, the emergency communication systems.
Right. Allison, thank you so much for the work you're doing. It's really important.
Thank you. Oh, and we're also looking at setting back up the operations center as well, which we had started prior to COVID, but unfortunately that kind of COVID put a stopper on a lot of things.
It's to reestablish the communication portion of the operations and communication center.
Right. A lot of letters.
I'd like to point out that Mark has joined us, Mark Reese, and please put that in the minutes.
Morning, everybody.
Mark, you may have saved the day because we're going to lose a couple of folks here shortly, and
Okay.
we'll still have a quorum, so that's a good thing.
Good
Always
timing.
glad to contribute.
Yeah, like, just your presence. Thank you. Other
Mr.
questions?
Chair, Mr. Chair, just a quick
Yeah, go ahead,
follow-up
Matt.
just to add to what John said, Allison, thank you for what you're doing. And I just want to throw in an emphasis on that whole text alert stuff. I mean, this stuff is, I'm lucky I'm even able to log into this meeting. So this stuff is way above my world, but I know that we got to do better with the text stuff versus the email stuff. I mean, like when a trip cancels, what's running, what's not running, what's, that kind of stuff. When you said about marine ops getting to the front end, I think that's what you're talking about. And I mean, Nantucket Current finds stuff out faster than the public sometimes, you know what I mean? And so the other thing is, and I don't know how much this plays into what you're doing, but when these new boats come, the iBoat status stuff and the mixed load stuff and the passenger stuff, people finding out that the 7:15 or the 6:45 Barnstable at night leaving Nantucket now can take people.
Right.
That's going to be a big, huge change in how the mindset works. The natural scheduling, people have the stuff in their head. They know the Eagle's running. They've got the Woods Hole figured out. They know that that's running on the Eagle schedule now for the last, 10 years that's been happening. I'm talking about that boat running opposite the Eagle. It used to be different. And then once these freight boats become mixed loads, the non-hazardous trips, that's going to change everybody over here.
Right.
Like it's just completely different. And that we have to make sure we, have the way to get that in everybody's mind. That's all I'm saying.
On that earlier, and making sure that when those trips are currently now flagged as mixed loads, if they show up on the website, we seem to have got that issue resolved. So going forward with the new boats, it'll be extremely helpful.
We don't have a weight draft thing is what I'm trying to say, if everybody doesn't know what I'm talking about. So that's good. This is great. We gotta this is going to be such a big change for this for our route. It's unbelievable. So thank you very much for everything.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, gentlemen.
Mr. Chairman, I'm gonna have to be leaving. I just wanted to make a point, though. I know we have to change different meeting dates, but I know for myself and other members, I think Mr. Cahill's the same way, that we plan our schedules around when the meetings are supposed to be.
Understood.
Understood? Okay, good. And I know sometimes you have to change them, but in this particular case, I had already made plans to be off island. So thank you and have a
See you,
rest
Joe.
of a nice day. And thanks, Mark, for coming on.
Thanks, Joe.
Bye.
All right,
Have a
Bob.
nice rest of the day.
Thank you.
All right, Bob, back to you on the agenda.
All right, so I guess the next one would be an update on the website redesign, and that's Stephen.
So the website redesign project. The long-awaited launch or proposed launch. There are certainly a very finite number of outstanding issues remaining. But I'd like to demonstrate how rapidly things change at this point with this project. Because of there's so few agenda items left that you will see number 1, 2, 3, and 5 on this schedule are actually moved out of development and into QA at this point in time. So number 1 being a date and time cannot be changed. Number 2, passenger tickets purchased online cannot be canceled. Number 3, used reservations are displayed on future reservation pages. Those have already been developed since the publication of this document, which was Thursday, and into QA. Number 5, which is a general category of site security, that has already been addressed, finalized, approved between the steamship, the Stellar Elements, and a third-party vendor helping with security. So it shows you the progress being made even in the last final stages of this process. Outstanding issue number 4, user interface. It's really just cleanup items at this point that maybe a few broken links and a form not working. Nothing major to speak of. Number 6 being load testing. That's something that must be done in advance of launch, and we're confident that it will be successful. Site monitoring is an aspect of the project that Stellar Elements will be delivering so that we can verify that the site is up and performing as expected. And then lastly, Google Play Store is associated with the mobile site. One thing I should say on this page, certainly from a steamship perspective, confidence is very high that things are moving forward in the manner that will allow us to launch this site within the time frame indicated in the next page. So here's the estimated timeline for launch. At this point in time, we're using an internal beta site with test credit cards, and we're down to very few issues remaining. We anticipate May 5th through the 13th, converting beta site to live credit cards, as long as we have 0 errors on the board. These dates that I'm putting up, they're certainly subject to change, whether it's postponed further or even promoted sooner than anticipated. We are that close in the project that it can go either way. May 14th through the 27th, we anticipate having a limited public beta viewing with live credit cards after acceptance has occurred. And finally, in June, we do anticipate public beta. That will run alongside the current website for a certain period of time to be determined, just to make certain that that things are working as anticipated as late into the process as we possibly can, taking into account the summer season coming up. That's it. Any questions? Actually, Bob, do you have anything you'd like to add? Okay. Any questions?
Any questions from the Port Council? John?
Hey, thank you, Rob. Hey, Stephen, thank you for the presentation. When you say public beta, can you give me an estimate at what size, what's the pool of users?
Oh, we're talking the last item being public?
Yeah, public beta.
That will be to the general public.
So it'll be open to everybody.
I think he was referring to the limited beta that you mentioned.
Are you referring to limited or public? Limited, there's
I
two
have
line
to see
items.
the slide again, but you talked about a beta.
Yeah, so there's two line items. One is limited public beta, and then there's the public beta in June.
Yeah,
Tell them about.
So the limited public would be by invite only, making
Okay.
certain that individuals outside the steamship authority can execute functionality with ease of use. And certainly to make certain in the final stages that we haven't overlooked anything. The public beta scheduled for June is just that, public. People can use either site. We anticipate people going to the new site, but if they, for some reason, had any level of difficulty unanticipated on our part, they'd fall back to the current site. We don't anticipate that time frame being a great deal of time, but we do want to build that into the schedule.
you know, a follow-up if I may, Chair.
Please.
Would you consider not doing it during the crunch period of May through September? And set a timeline where it could be easier on you, given all the other initiatives you have, to do this in September, October?
I'd certainly be open to anything, but I'm fearful that whether it's this period of time or October, there'll always be something that might compete with resources. I would imagine that my point of view, I think it warrants a conversation at best. I think the vendors would like to move this forward. I think the steamship would like to move this forward. I'm never opposed to having further conversation, but the resources are allocated. We are in the final stages. We are anticipating full sign-off from each participating role within the project, and that includes vendors.
Yeah, John, this is Rob. Counterpoint to your suggestion. I mean, I sort of hear project momentum, you know, being an important aspect of this, and the finish line in sight. So even though Stephen's dates may not be perfect, you know, I think there's a lot of merit to, you know, keeping going. I also sort of hear from Stephen that he sounds like, my take is he'd like to see this project in the rearview mirror too. But anyhow.
It's that's one way of saying it, but I think the momentum is meaningful.
Yeah.
Everybody's fully engaged, and my fear would be if for no reason other than concern or hesitation, we postpone by 3 months, that momentum might be hard to emulate in the future.
Just one last question. Have you had Gibbs take a look at this?
Yes, very much so. He's a good resource and is very willing to share his opinion.
Okay. Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Thanks, Stephen.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Stephen.
Yes.
Bob, next on the agenda.
So next on the agenda is just a quick update on the pre-sale of MV Iyanough ticket books. So this year's sale occurred from March 17th through March 30th. The Iyanough was scheduled to come back into service on the 25th, although it ended up being delayed a day because of the weather. So that in this year, 2024, we sold a total of 4,507 ticket books during the sale period. This is down slightly, about 3% compared to last year, but it's still the second highest total of books that we sold in one period during the 12 years we've been doing this. So the sale generated just under $1.1 million in revenue. With the discount, it was about $270,000. It cost us for that, but we feel it's an important aspect of that service, where it only runs 9 months of the year to bring back some loyalty. It also serves as a benefit to the island residents and the businesses that travel back and forth. It also helps us to bring back a little brand loyalty for that service. So just to update in that regard. So.
Anybody have any questions on that?
Bob said it pretty good. I could go on, but I want to go back to work, so it's fine.
Thanks, Bob.
So, and then I think the operating status communications was already, Allison's already come up with that, so I think we can move on to the treasurer's report, if that's okay.
Yep.
Good morning, everyone. In hearing Nat's comments, I'll give a brief presentation for the business. So passengers for the month of February, the Vineyard route was up 8.5%. The Nantucket was down 4.7%. Overall, we're up 7.1%, or just over 8,000 passengers for the month of February. Looking at passenger vehicles carried, the Vineyard route was down 0.8% at 215 vehicles. The Nantucket was virtually flat, down 6 vehicles. You can see in both islands, it's the standard fare vehicles that are down, while the excursion fares were up. Freight vehicles, both routes combined, and again, this is all one-way traffic, was up 1.5%, or 95 one-way vehicles for the month. In cars parked, and those are accurate numbers, but you got to keep in mind we're using small numbers to begin with. Vineyard route was up 32%, while the Nantucket route was down 11.5%. Looking at trip summary for the month of February, the big number there to look at is the weather. We had 51 trips canceled for weather on the Vineyard run, 32 on the Nantucket run. This year we're at 5.32% weather cancellations year to date. Last year we're at 137. We've had some, unfortunately, some bad weather for the whole periods of the days. But the good news is that our mechanical is about half of what it was last year as far as percentages go. Financial snapshot for the month of February, total revenue was up $185,000 for the month, up $420,000 for the year. Total expenses are down $2.4 million, which we'll get into in a little bit for the month, and down 2.5 for the year. So right now, year to date, we're trending lower on a projected net operating loss. We're below budget by about $2.9 million, but that's really just timing issues. Here's the revenue side, and the big factor is the automobile revenues down $134,000 for the month, or $305 for the year, and that's directly correlated to this quantity of the standard fare vehicles being down. Here we can see the big driver on the operating expenses, the maintenance expense, down just under $2.3 million for the month. And a lot of that's timing with invoicing for the island home in the Nantucket, which is about 1.9 of that $2.3 million. Also, fuel expense for the month was down about 20 cents versus budget. We're at $3.35 while we budgeted $3.55. Quick snapshot for March. For the first 3 weeks, we're up 10% for both routes combined. All categories are up for passengers. And here we can see the vehicle traffic for the first 3 weeks. Both the islands were up, where the standard fares are still down while the excursions are up. And I know you guys already have this in your packet, so that's why I was quick, but I'd be more than happy to answer any questions anyone has.
Any questions from the Port Council?
No.
Any trends that are worth noting, Mark?
You're looking at the standard fare vehicles, seeing that trend down. And so for the month of March, I looked at the traffic, and it's kind of more flattening out a little bit. I think we're down 5% versus the 9%. but it's, we're looking at such small numbers at this time of year, and where one day of weather could artificially move those numbers. So that's the one thing I'm keeping an eye on right now as far as on the revenue side.
When you mentioned the timing issues, would that make up most of the difference, half of the difference?
Yeah.
What portion of the difference from the actuals to the budget?
Sure. So for the maintenance expense, we were under budget about 2.3 million. Of that, 1.9 million is for the Nantucket and the Island home, where originally in the dry dock contract, we had half of the Nantucket work being done in February and half being done in March, where the Nantucket didn't go into the shipyard till the very end of February. So we really didn't incur many of those expenses in February. So it's going to be a March, April actual incursion versus February, March. So we're just sliding everything a little bit to the right as far as the realization of the expenses.
Gotcha. Thank you. Any other questions? Hearing none. Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Any old or new business?
We
Couple things.
kind of talked about it all at the meeting today, Rob, really, with this improvements, boat stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like everything that we did today is kind of like old and new, kind of packaged.
Yep.
So
I think there was an outstanding request from Bob Jones regarding ideas for an offsite. So I want to encourage folks to consider providing some ideas. So
you talking about that? You talk about that workshop?
Yeah.
Yeah. I already sent some stuff to Bob.
Okay, great. I had one other question, Bob, and that was regarding the award of the terminal contract. And I guess my question really is, what's the criteria for putting things in front of the Port Council before I realize we're not in the business of approving contracts. That is a big one, and one that, is obviously of import to everybody. So just wondering, because it was not on our agenda last month, and yet it was approved a week later.
So typically for a procurement item, which I thought this fell under, I don't think actually at the time of the Port Council meeting, I don't think we actually had the bids even open at that time. I think it was following the Port Council meeting. So we didn't know what the bids were going to be coming in at. And then, with the timeline to try to keep this project on target, the next meeting was the board meeting. So that's where it was presented. But typically on a procurement item, goes directly to the board. So,
I understand that. I guess the one thing, just, for us to be totally tuned into the big picture, though, that's probably the kind of thing that to know and be aware that it's pending and the decision that perhaps could be made and so on and so forth. Just, I'm not talking about the routine ones, but that certainly falls outside of the routine. And as you well know, it's a point of extreme interest, in the community.
Yeah, in all the communities. So, the one thing that had was a relatively last minute change had been that it was approved, predicated on eliminating one of the bus lanes on the east side of the terminal building to try to shift the building back a little bit farther from the waterfront. And so the architects are working on that. We're kind of limited in how far you could shift it because of all the stormwater that had been done, but we could eliminate the one lane, which they're working on. And we do anticipate that the company that was awarded the contract will be starting to do the geothermal wells upcoming here shortly to get those in place before we start having a lot of traffic on the property. So that activity will be taking place, and I think at next month's Port Council meeting we'll have an item on the agenda for what what the stages, the coming stages of this project are in terms of the work.
Yeah, I think that'd be really helpful to have, have this be, sort of presented in a way that gives us the big picture, understands the timing, all of those things, potential impacts.
So, Mr. Cludier has retired, so, Sean Mulcahy will be providing those updates, so be gentle on him to begin with.
All right.
Just to begin.
Anybody have any other topics to be brought up? Okay, hearing none, I guess we're open for public comment, if any.
Anyone has any public comment, you can hit the raise your hand icon, and I see Unky.
Hello, Unky from the MB Times. Just a couple questions I want to ask. Just double check is how much was the cost for the repairs to the Woods Hole, and with the, I think, are there any anticipated cost increase or for the website redesign, or are things kind of going as budgeted?
Yeah, exactly.
Right,
Congrats, Chris.
the Woods Hole, we're just, the work was just completed. We just had to go back. It was all, the work was done in-house by our maintenance crew. So, it just be materials and the time, the allocation of the time for them, and I don't have those numbers put together at this point. Regarding the website, there's, we're working under the same contract that we've had all along, and so there hasn't been any update on any change orders on that. We're continuing to do it based on the agreements that are in place. So I don't have that number on the top of my head.
All right, thank you.
That's all I see, Mr. Meteor.
Very good, Sean. I think then we're ready for motion to adjourn.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second that.
Okay. We'll do a roll call. John,
Cahill, yes.
Mark,
Mark Reese, yes.
Nat,
Aye, yes.
Rob Munier, aye. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all. Thank you, staff.
Good to
Thanks
see everyone.
very much. Take
Cheers.
care.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day, everybody.